Chapter 1. The Invisible Climate. You ever walk into a building and feel it? That thickness in the air? Like something was off before anybody said a word? That's not your imagination, that's energy. Before you even clock in, there's a spiritual forecast waiting for you. Some places carry peace, others, pressure. You can't always explain it, but you know when something ain't right. And in the workplace, that invisible climate sets the tone long before any job duty begins. I remember stepping into a job once and feeling like I was walking into a war zone. Nobody smiled. People moved like robots. Conversations were hollow. And my spirit was yelling, "This place is not safe," but on paper, good benefits, steady hours. Looked like a blessing. Spiritually, it was a battlefield. Here's what they don't teach in orientation. People bring their problems to work. They bring grief, jealousy, unforgiveness, rage. And all that baggage creates an atmosphere. If you're an empath, a light carrier, or someone who simply feels deeply, this affects you more than most. You absorb what others ignore. You sense what others suppress. And if you don't learn how to guard your energy, the climate will consume you. The air in a workplace carries the residue of what happened there. Arguments, lies, power plays. Unspoken tension lingers in meeting rooms, behind cubicles, even in the hallway. Some days you'll feel like you're walking through fog. Other days, it might feel light, even joyful, because someone came in carrying peace, and it shifted the room. That someone might be you. You can be the thermostat or the thermometer. A thermometer reads the temperature. A thermostat sets it. And once I realized I had that kind of authority, I stopped letting every atmosphere affect me. I started shifting it. I began praying before I entered the building, blessing the space in silence, asking God to show me what wasn't being said out loud. Because the real power wasn't in the job title, it was in my discernment. Workplaces don't just run off policy. They run off presence. And the strongest presence doesn't always come from the CEO. So if you've ever wondered why you leave work tired, angry, or sad and it had nothing to do with your task list, check the energy. Ask God to show you what's really operating in the room. This chapter isn't just about buildings. It's about becoming aware of the battle before the first email gets sent. Chapter 2. Spirits at the staff meeting. Let me tell you something most people don't want to believe. Not every person in the room came alone. You see 10 coworkers, but in the spirit, you might be sitting with 20. Because when people carry bitterness, addiction, lust, manipulation, or control, they're not just carrying emotions. They're carrying attachments. And guess where all those spirits like to meet up? The staff meeting. That weekly gathering where fake smiles, hidden agendas, and bottled up resentment sit side by side, sipping coffee. I used to think it was just tension, just awkward silence. But after a while, I learned how to see beyond the surface. That energy I kept feeling wasn't just bad vibes, it was spiritual presence. Let's break this down. Every spirit has a frequency. Some come to distract, some come to divide. Others come to dominate, especially through certain people who think they're in charge but are really being used. Ever notice how one toxic person can shift the whole mood of a room? They speak and suddenly everybody tightens up. Or worse, nobody says a word, but their presence is heavy, oppressive, uninviting. That's not just their personality. That's a spirit operating through them. And if you've ever walked into a staff meeting and felt your stomach tighten or your spirit shrink, that was discernment, not paranoia. You start picking up patterns. The gossip spirit that always shows up through the same 2 coworkers whispering after every meeting. The rejection spirit hiding in the quiet one who never speaks, but always looks hurt. The spirit of competition that makes people interrupt, overtalk, or dismiss others' ideas. The spirit of confusion that comes right when important decisions are being made. I've seen it. And I've called it out in prayer, not in public, because the battle wasn't with the people. It was what was influencing the people. Sometimes familiar spirits travel from job to job. Ever get hired at a place and start feeling like it's the same demons from the last job just wearing different faces? Same energy, different names. That's because those spirits don't clock out. They follow assignments. When you're carrying light, when you come in with peace, clarity, truth, or favor, those spirits recognize you. That's why you get attacked or iced out without reason. It's not personal, it's spiritual. So now I don't just walk into a meeting. I walk in prayed up. I ask God, show me the energy behind the words. Show me who's carrying what. Show me what's trying to infiltrate. Because even though it looks like we're here to talk numbers, schedules, and deadlines, the real meeting is happening in the spirit. And I'm not just an employee, I'm a watchman. Chapter 3. Managers, Mirrors, and Masks. Let's talk about managers. Not titles, spirits in leadership. Because some of the most spiritually charged energy I've ever felt didn't come from coworkers. It came from who was in charge. Some leaders operate like mirrors. They reflect your gifts, your effort, and your light back to you. They see you. They honor your presence. They create an atmosphere where people grow. But others? They wear masks. They're not leading, they're performing. And behind that performance? Control, insecurity, jealousy, even a deep spiritual darkness that uses the job title to manipulate everyone around them. I've had bosses who hated my light. I didn't say much. I didn't gossip. I just showed up, worked hard, and carried peace. But they couldn't take it. Because what I carried exposed what they were hiding. You ever meet someone who gets uncomfortable just because you're calm? That's because your peace conflicts with their chaos. And instead of changing, they attack the one who reminds them of what they're not. Some managers don't just micromanage, they spiritually suppress. They see your potential, your ability to lead, your ideas, and instead of promoting it, they hide it. They put layers of red tape, fake protocols, and made up drama in your way. Why? Because they're threatened by your presence, not your resume. And here's the real kicker. Sometimes you're there as a test for them. Your energy was sent to trigger their growth, not your downfall. But if you don't realize that, you'll take it personal and start doubting yourself. Don't. It's not you, it's what's operating through them. Now let's flip the mirror. There were times I had to ask myself, am I reflecting peace or reacting to pain? Because energy doesn't just come from management, sometimes it comes through us. There were moments I walked in guarded, defensive. I was still holding pain from the last job. Still carrying wounds from being overlooked, lied on, or pushed aside. And I started treating new people like old enemies. That's when God checked me. Are you becoming what you survived? Phew. So this chapter is about accountability too. Because sometimes the leader wearing the mask is you. Whether you're in charge or not, your energy leads the way. People remember how you made them feel more than what your title said. I've learned to check myself. I've also learned to recognize when it's time to leave. Because when the mask becomes the culture, the mirror has no place to shine.